A man won $167 million on Tuesday and got himself arrested for kicking a cop in the face on Wednesday. Not a week later, not a month later, the very next day. James Farthing managed to go from lottery winner to criminal defendant faster than most people can figure out how to quit their jobs. And honestly, that might be the most impressive part of this entire mess. Let's set the scene here. April 28th, Clark's Pump End Shop in Georgetown, Kentucky. Farthing drops $2 on a Powerball ticket and hits every single number for the biggest jackpot in Kentucky history. The man's looking at more money than most small countries see in their annual budgets. So naturally, what does he do? He takes his girlfriend down to Florida to celebrate at a resort, because apparently when you've got generational wealth, the smart move is to immediately put yourself in situations where you can lose it all. According to police reports, Farthing and his girlfriend, Jacqueline Fightmaster, and yes, that's her actual legal name, which should tell you everything you need to know about where this story's headed, decide to hit up the bar at Tradewine's Resort in St. Pete Beach. Now, when you've just won more money than God, most reasonable people might order the expensive champagne, tip the bartender well, maybe buy a round for the house. But not our lottery winner. No, police say Farthing decides to punch some random guest from Iowa right in the jaw. Here's where it gets worse. A Pinellas County deputy rushes in to break up this bar fight, and according to the arrest report, Farthing's brilliant response is to kick the deputy square in the face. Not a nudge, not an accident. A full-on kick that left the officer with swelling and redness under his right eye. The body cam footage shows the deputy shouting about getting kicked while Farthing's trying to run away like this is some kind of slapstick comedy routine. But wait, there's more. While James is getting tased and tackled by law enforcement because, of course, he tried to flee after assaulting an officer, his girlfriend is living up to her surname in the most spectacular fashion possible. Police reports say Fightmaster was so intoxicated she was trying to start fights with other resort guests while screaming incoherent statements at anyone within earshot. The woman went from lottery winner's girlfriend to public intoxication arrest in the span of one evening. You literally cannot make this stuff up. And the kicker? You won't believe it. Turns out Farthing was on parole when this whole disaster went down. Parole. The man just won enough money to buy a small island, and he's still checking in with a probation officer. According to court records, his criminal history spans 9 different Kentucky counties with convictions including organized crime, burglary, drug charges, and escaping from a detention facility. This man has been perfecting the art of terrible decision-making for decades, and apparently $167 million wasn't enough to break the pattern. The beautiful irony here is that during his lottery press conference, you know, the one where they hand you the giant check and everyone smiles for the cameras, Farthing talked about keeping his faith and turning his life around. I've made some bad decisions in life, he said, but something good's happened for me. Something good happened all right, and he managed to completely torpedo it in less time than it takes most people to decide what color Ferrari they're buying. The body cam footage of this entire mess is absolutely priceless. You've got a man who just became one of the wealthiest people in Kentucky getting cuffed while mumbling apologies, and the deputy he just kicked is understandably not interested in hearing it. Meanwhile, Ms. Fightmaster is getting arrested for trying to brawl with strangers at what was supposed to be their victory celebration. It's like watching someone win the Super Bowl and then immediately spike the trophy through their own foot. So there you have it. A man wins more money than most people see in 10 lifetimes and manages to get himself arrested for assaulting a police officer before the ink's even dry on the check. His girlfriend, whose last name is literally Fightmaster, gets busted for public intoxication after trying to fight random resort guests. The whole thing reads like a rejected script from a bad comedy movie, except it's all verified by police reports and body cam footage. Sometimes life hands you more entertainment than any scriptwriter could dream up, and sometimes that entertainment comes with its own arrest warrants. Next up, we have a school principal who walked into a Walmart, loaded up his cart with bacon, shrimp, and light bulbs, then allegedly tried to walk out without paying for any of it. Not a teenage shoplifter, not some desperate person down on their luck. A grown man who runs an entire school and shapes young minds for a living, according to police reports, decided that $40 worth of breakfast meat and home improvement supplies was worth risking his entire career over. Gregory Lewis, principal of Bach Academy North in Lake Wales, Florida, just proved that having an education degree doesn't automatically come with common sense. Now let's talk about this for a minute. This man oversees the education of hundreds of students. He's supposed to be teaching kids about integrity, honesty, and making good choices. Parents Parents trust him to guide their children's academic futures. The school board pays him a principal's salary, which in Florida runs anywhere from $60,000 to $100,000 a year. And according to Lake Wales police, he allegedly tried to finesse the self-checkout at Walmart like he's running some kind of budget grocery heist operation. The police report says Lewis was caught red-handed at the self-checkout kiosk, deliberately skipping the scan on several items. We're talking about bacon, frozen shrimp, and light bulbs. $40 worth of merchandise. Not exactly the kind of high-stakes theft that makes criminal masterminds famous. This man allegedly risked everything for the retail equivalent of pocket change and some breakfast ingredients. As if that wasn't enough, this happened at the self-checkout, which means there's probably security footage of the entire debacle. Those cameras catch everything, and they're positioned specifically to watch for exactly this kind of behavior. So not only did Lewis allegedly decide to steal from Walmart, but according to police, he chose the one checkout method that's under more surveillance than a military base. It's like deciding to rob a bank while wearing a name tag that says, "Hi, I'm the guy committing the crime." Here's what really gets me about this whole situation. Walmart has loss prevention officers whose entire job is to watch for people trying to scam the self-checkout. They've got cameras, sensors, weight detection systems, and employees specifically trained to spot exactly what Lewis allegedly tried to pull off. The man walked into what's essentially a theft detection laboratory and thought he could outsmart a system designed by people who've been dealing with shoplifters since before he probably even knew what a self-checkout was. And then it went completely off the rails. The Lake Wales Charter Schools District immediately placed Lewis on administrative leave while they conduct their own investigation. So now we've got a principal who's not only facing criminal charges for petty theft, but he's also probably going to lose his job over bacon and light bulbs. The man went from educator to unemployed over $40 worth of groceries and hardware store basics. The school district's statement was perfectly diplomatic, saying they're conducting an investigation while Lewis is on leave, but you know what they're really thinking. They're sitting in boardroom meetings trying to figure out how to explain to parents that the person they trusted to lead their children's school allegedly couldn't manage to pay for his own groceries like a functioning adult. What makes this even more absurd is the random combination of items: bacon, shrimp, and light bulbs. That's not a shopping list. That's a riddle. What do you call a school administrator who allegedly steals breakfast meat and home improvement supplies? Unemployed. According to police reports, Lewis confessed to the theft, which means he went from denial to admission faster than most people decide what they want for lunch. The beautiful irony here is that this man spent his career in education, presumably teaching students about consequences and making responsible choices. Every assembly about character, every disciplinary meeting about honesty, every lecture about doing the right thing, all of that just got completely undermined by an alleged $40 theft at a Walmart self-checkout. The kids at his school are probably learning more about poor decision-making from this news story than they ever did from any textbook. So there you have it. A school principal allegedly decided that bacon, shrimp, and light bulbs were worth throwing away his entire career over. Lake Wales police caught him at the scene. He's on administrative leave, and the whole thing happened at the self-checkout that probably has better security than some government buildings. The man went from shaping young minds to making headlines for all the wrong reasons, all because he allegedly couldn't manage to scan $40 worth of random merchandise. Sometimes the people we trust to teach our kids about making good choices need to take their own damn class. Believe it or bullshit. Hit that subscribe button, because God knows what other insane news I'm going to dig up next time.